What's up everybody out there? Today we're going to be making pollo asado. You might ask, well, what's the difference between pollo asado and carne asada? What's the difference? It's a spelling. One's chicken, one's beef. Really, pollo asado just means, like roasted chicken. Inside the chicken, we got ourselves a heart. We need to reach in there and grab all the other goodies. This chicken had 2 livers. This must be from Chernobyl Farms, right? And we got ourselves a gizzard. So now what we need to do is we need to grab this. We got to flip it on over. And what we're going to do is we are going to cut down the side of the spine. Cool. And we're going to save this because we can use that for chicken stock. And now what we're going to do is we're going to come in over here and right up here on the cartilage part, we're going to cut down on that. Okay. Right here we end up having the breastbone. And we're just going to end up kind of chopping that right there too. So right here we have the breastbone. We want to kind of get in here and remove this if possible. Sometimes you got to get your fingers a little dirty. There we go. There we go. All right. We got that, well, part of the breastbone. We got a little bit more right here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to be kind of like pulling that apart right there. Nice, huh? All right, we're doing all right. If there's a little extra skin right here, go ahead and get rid of it. Now if you want to, you can come in right here and actually remove a little bit more of these ribs. I'm just going to come up right here. Chop that. All right. Now, as far as the bone here, this is going to keep. That's going to be okay. The stuff that's up here, it's going to be okay. Right now, I'm looking for the wishbone. I want to get rid of. That can actually end up going into the stock pot as well. That fat right there. That's just a potential fire. So I'm going to call that good for our butterfly chicken. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my fingers between the meat and the skin. Like that. Ooh. All right. Same thing. I'm going to do it over here. I want to get on inside there. And the amount of salt that we need. That should be adequate. I'm gonna put some warm water in here. When I say warm water, body temperature, but I just need something that will dissolve the salt. Okay? And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take Mr. Chicken and we're gonna put Mr. Chicken inside the brine. And guess what? We're gonna go ahead and cover this, put it in the refrigerator, and let it set for a day. There's a little bit right here of Dr. Chill's Double V sauce. And Double V sauce is this. It's a combination of vodka and vinegar. And what I do is I spread it all over the cutting board and I just let it absorb in there. And if there is anything in there, any microbes, they will die. So this will end up being very, very clean by the time that that's all done. The chicken, beef, or pork can only absorb so much salt. In other words, it will never be too salty. All you have to do is just let this set for about a day in the refrigerator, and then afterwards take it out. You're going to notice that the color of the water will be different because it has taken fluids out of the bird and it's put salt water in the bird, right? And you rinse it off real well, and then when you cook this, every single piece of meat will have the perfect amount of salt in it, no matter how deep inside the chicken it is. Every piece is going to taste delicious, and this is also a great way for this to actually start absorbing more moisture, right? You would think that it would actually end up remove moisture. No, it's going to absorb more. And so you're going to end up having a juicier piece of chicken as well. It will not be as dry as a standard bird. Brines are what separate the men from the boys. And this has been setting in the brine for a day, which basically means this. We don't really have to salt this anymore. But you might notice the color of the water is definitely different. What we have to do is take the extra salt off of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this over to the sink, drain it, and then we're going to rinse this off real well. If we don't rinse this off, the salt flavor is going to be overwhelming. This is a chili powder, and this is a chili powder that doesn't have anything other than just ground chili. California or New Mexico chili is just fine. You can get this stuff at the supermarket, fairly inexpensive. I'm going to put about a tablespoon. This is paprika. Okay, and we're going to be putting maybe a half of a tablespoon. This right here is ground cumin. Some people say cumin, but I call it cumin. Okay, and we need about a full teaspoon, I would say. Now you can use fresh ground garlic if you want, but in this case I'm going to end up using garlic powder. And that's probably close to about a half of a teaspoon. This is about a teaspoon of onion powder. This is oregano, and this is about a teaspoon. A little bit of black pepper, maybe a quarter of a teaspoon. This is cayenne pepper, and I'm just going to be using just a little because I don't really want this to be overly hot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a mortar and pestle, and I'm going to grind this up. Some people will put things like nutmeg, and they'll put cloves, and they'll put coriander, and they'll put all sorts of stuff inside their rub. The rub that I'm showing you is just a basic rub that you'll end up getting good results with. So what we want to do is we want to try to get some of this extra liquid off of here. And you know, the seasoning that we just made, the rub, we're going to stick it underneath the skin here. And another thing that you can actually end up doing, we're going to throw some up like this. Another thing that you can actually end up doing is if you make some of the salsa that I have shown you guys how to make before, if you end up taking that and you stuff it under the skin, that also will work as a really good seasoning. With whatever's left over, we can kind of just rub it on the skin of the bird. We can also flip this over like so, put a little bit on the underside as well, and I think that that's pretty good right there. I'm going to put some olive oil here inside the bowl that we had used earlier. Take the chicken, throw it inside there, kind of spin it around. We want everything to have a nice coat of oil. Okay. To get a new one of these, this thing is about had it. This is actually from part of the bag that the charcoal came in. I'm going to put a little bit more in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil on that, so that way it burns kind of like a candle. It's too big of a piece. Real big pieces you need to break down. This can take anywhere from about 10 minutes. Now this can take anywhere, it's kind of windy out here today. This can take anywhere from about 10 minutes or so to 20 minutes. That wind is not giving me a break, you know. So we could probably let that go a little bit more, but I think that the coals are hot enough. And then pour the coals. And what we want to do is we want to kind of move all of this to the outside. Boy, that is hot. When you can get the fat and grease that's on there to ignite, you know that's hot. We want to make sure that people know that they're missing out on good barbecue. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw part of an onion. That was something that I used a couple of days ago. But then I also threw a couple of jalapenos that I can roast. And we're going to go ahead and let this kind of do its thing here for a minute before we actually throw the chicken on there. Because we want these coals to kind of get regulated right now. Right now they're just entirely too hot. It would end up charring the chicken even though we're putting the chicken in the middle. Boy, these peppers have really ballooned up nicely. Look at that. Ooh-wee. What we'll do is we'll bring this meat in a little bit closer. that. Try to get it away from the really hot edges. But what we want to do is cover this. Now, depending on your type of grill, you might have to come out here about every 5 minutes, take the lid off, let the oxygen stuff get back to the coals, and then when it starts heating up again, then put the lid back on. Because essentially, we are trying to grill it, but we're also trying to roast it / bake it. And then depending on the type of grill you have, sometimes the heat is just way too much for the grill, and then so what ends up happening is it kind of suffocates itself out, even with the vent open. So it smells pretty good, and it's been out here for about 10 minutes. Some people will actually put this like on a grill, like a fish grill, so that way they can turn it over easier. The combination of that onion and this smells so good though. We do our best to give it a flip. So it's been about another 10 minutes. I got the handy dandy thermometer out. First thing I see is we've got some bubbling here. So this might be done. We want to go ahead and stick it in an area kind of like this, but not to hit a bone. I'm getting 161 degrees, 150, 155, 154. There's going to be carryover heat. That's 150 right there. It's 149. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to give this another 10 minutes. Alright, so it's been about another 8 minutes or so, because I don't want to overcook it. If I overcook it, it can start getting tough. Look at how tender that is. 161, that's good. 161, that's good. You know something? This is fine. Wow, that's way hot. Okay, these are done. This is why using that fish grill sometimes comes in handy, because when it's time to actually release this and get it up on a plate, you can just kind of lift it up. The smell in here is absolutely insane. Set that guy there, so that way if somebody wants to cut that up. But then we also end up having those roasted peppers that the skin has been taken off of. We can have those here too. You'll also notice we didn't add any salt. Let me come over here and tear this piece up. And whew, that is warm. Let's give this a taste. Wow. Anybody that doesn't like this, man, I'm telling you, they need to go to a doctor and have their taste buds tested, because wow, that is good. Because you gotta have your limes. Let me put a little bit of lime juice right there. Oh man, I can already tell. I can already tell. And then this just falls apart. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is the best. That is the best chicken you will ever have. It's not spicy. It's not overpowering or anything like that. It has the perfect amount of salt. It's juicy. It's got the perfect amount of seasoning where it doesn't overpower the chicken. The chicken is still the main focus of this. Wow. This is one of the best chickens you will ever have. Guaranteed, as long as you do exactly what I showed you. Wow. My wife is going to be eating good tonight. Anyway, guys, that is that. Until next time, I'll talk to you later.